Imagine if you could get 100 tickets a day. Well, small dreams like that end here, because this video is currently the most advanced ticket guide to date, and I'm going to be showing you guys how you can get 600 tickets a day. Starting off with method number 1. Now, of course, this is going to be the easiest to keep up, and it's just going to be a daily King Beetle. Now, if you didn't know, King Beetle is guaranteed to drop you 5 tickets after every single defeat. King Beetle also spawns every 24 hours, so simply do King Beetle once a day and you can get a free 5 tickets. Now, of course, wherever there's King Beetle, you gotta do Tunnel Bear as well, and Tunnel Bear is actually extremely important because while King Beetle only gives 5 tickets, doing Tunnel Bear actually gives you 10. Now, the only problem with this is the fact that while King Beetle spawns every day, Tunnel Bear only spawns every 2 days. But this averages out to an extra 5 tickets a day from Tunnel Bear, bringing up our grand total to 10 tickets per day already. Now, these are just the simplest tricks, and they're gonna get so much more advanced and overpowered as the video goes on. Sort of like our next tip, which is going to be Wild Windy Bee. Now, if you didn't actually know, Wild Windy Bee can drop a ton of tickets. Before I started this video, I did a quick test run, and just from one Windy Bee by myself, I got 20 tickets. And that's just one Windy Bee by myself. So maybe you won't be able to do as well as me, but if you just want to do multiple Windy Bees and do some with your friends, you can most definitely get even more than 20 tickets a day. Now, keep in mind, everything I'm saying here is the bare minimum. Like, we have 30 tickets a day already, but that's only if King Beetle, Windy Bee, and Tunnel Bear drop the minimum amount of tickets. So this video is actually how to get 600 tickets a day minimum, because honestly, you can get so much more than just 600. Now, of course, we actually have to cover the next method, which is actually Sprouts. Now, when I say you get tickets from Sprouts, don't actually use your magic beans. What you should be doing is actually using this special Sprout spawner once a day. Along with the special Sprout spawner, which guarantees at least some tickets from a Sprout, you can also use your Honey Storm, which can be used multiple times a day, but tickets can also drop from Honey Storms. Not to mention, you can summon up to 3 a day. Not to mention, you can easily summon 3 of these a day. And then if you just defeat a few Ladybugs and Rhino Beetles along the way, you're guaranteed another 5 tickets a day, bringing our grand total up to 35 tickets a day. Now, of course, 35 tickets looks nothing like 600, and that's because the tips and tricks are about to get insanely overpowered. But before we get to those, we really quickly have to cover codes. Now, codes are one-time use, so I won't be including them in the daily ticket counter, but I will put all of the codes on screen right now that do give tickets. Some of them give just tickets, some of them give other things, so I will say, if the code does give like buffs and stuff, don't use the code just for the tickets. Don't forget to boost and stuff with all this. I'm just putting these codes on screen so you don't forget to use all of the ticket codes. Now, alongside with codes, there's also the badges. I know, I just have to cover these before we get into the overpowered methods. Once again, this is not going to be counted toward our daily ticket counter, but just from getting like a Grand Master badge, you are granted 40 tickets. So these will just be running along in the background while you're actually doing all these other methods. Just don't forget to claim your badges every once in a while, because the extra tickets are always nice. Now, this is the point in the video where things are gonna get insane, and that's because our next method actually grants 110 extra tickets a day. Of course, this method is none other than the wealth clock. Of course, you can claim the wealth clock once every hour, and the buff stacks to give you more and more tickets every single time you use it. So if you can macro and you're using this thing 24 times a day, you will be given an extra 110 tickets a day just from the wealth clock macro, which brings our grand total up to 145 tickets. You can use Jitbit or Nadro, it doesn't really matter, both will give you the tickets. And if you don't macro, don't worry, the next tips are even more overpowered and they don't even require macro. Of course, before we cover those, we have to quickly cover Stump Snail, which is actually an insanely good method of getting tickets. Now, Stump Snail spawns once every 5 days if you have that Vicious Bee cooldown, and Stump Snail is guaranteed to drop at least 50 tickets every single defeat. So 50 tickets every 5 days boils down to an extra 10 tickets a day, which means at this point in the video, we're already getting 155 tickets a day. But if you think that's a lot, this next method is going to literally double our daily ticket yield. And that is none other than the very underrated ticket planner. Now, you can get ticket planners from Dapper Bear quests and stuff. But Beesmas is coming up, and you're actually going to be able to get ticket planners from Dapper Bear's Samavor. Now, ticket planners grow every 2 hours and are guaranteed to drop a minimum of at least 10 tickets. But if you use a glitter, then you can grow a ticket planner once every 1.5 hours, which means if you're constantly planting and harvesting ticket planners throughout the day, you are going to be rewarded with an extra 160 tickets a day just from ticket planners. Now, of course, this method is very costly, so you're going to want to make sure you have macros set up to use Dapper Bear's Samavor throughout Beesmas, because they're pretty much unobtainable anytime Beesmas isn't here. But hey, thanks to this method, our daily ticket yield is now at 315 tickets. Now, the next method is actually extremely underrated, and I think a lot of people forget about it. But to be fairly honest, it's pretty simple, and it's literally just the spider and the werewolf. The spider and the werewolf are literally just mobs, but if you didn't know, with enough loot luck, you can get one ticket from both the spider and the werewolf every single defeat. Now, the werewolf spawns once every hour, and the spider spawns once every half hour, but if you're going to be macroing Wealth Clock, then also macro the spider and the werewolf, because if you do these throughout the day, you're going to be granted an extra 72 tickets a day just from these two mobs. Now, to make things easier, we're going to round it down to 70 tickets a day, which brings our grand total up to 385 tickets a day. And once again, this is just the bare minimum, so you're probably going to get a lot more than just 70 tickets from your spider and werewolf. I would actually guess around 100. But of course, none of these methods are possible. But of course, 600 tickets is in no way possible without this next method. But before we move on to one of the most overpowered methods, of course, we have to pay tribute to the ticket shop. This is just simply, you can buy tickets. It's honestly a great way to get tickets if you just have extra honey to burn. So if you want some extra tickets a day, just go ahead and use your macro honey for this. You'll get free tickets, and it's honestly worth it. But of course, I promised you guys 600 tickets a day, and we're only at 385. And that's because our next method is the leaderboards. Well, of course, the leaderboards were added in the update, and thanks to the retro update, you can now get tickets by being on the daily leaderboard. Now, this method is for kind of professional players only, but some easier leaderboards to get on are the daily honey makers, which rewards 100 tickets. By getting on your daily honey makers, you're most likely going to make it onto your daily color collectors, which grants an extra 25. Next up, there's daily top ant exterminators, which is really easy to get on. Of course, that's an extra 50. After that is daily stick bug, which is an extra 100. And of course, keep in mind, you don't have to make it into like the top 10 of any of these leaderboards. Just top 100 grants the tickets. Now, if you have a puff group, then doing one daily puff run will also get you onto the daily puff damage leaderboard, which is an extra 50. And if you boosted, then that means whatever field you boosted in, you are going to make it onto the daily leaderboard for that field, which grants an extra 25. These are the bare minimum leaderboards, but if you just make it onto these, you're granted an extra 350 tickets a day, bringing our grand total up to, hear me out here, 675 tickets in one singular day. And of course, this is just the bare minimum. This is saying that every single mob you defeat throughout the day, every single stump snail, king beetle, and tunnel bear drops the bare minimum. That's not actually going to happen. You're actually going to be getting 700 tickets a day using this method. This is currently the most advanced ticket guide to date, and I have some more extremely advanced guides coming in the future videos. So if you don't want to miss those future guides, which are going to be just as crazy as this one, honestly, you don't even have to subscribe. Just hit the bells. It's way more effective, and you'll be notified when I upload those videos. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy 700 tickets a day, and I will see you all in the next video.